everybody, today I want to share with you what I eat in a typical day of low carb, high fat. I have been doing this for about a month now and I'm down about 10 pounds. When I look at myself and I look at the way that I've lost 10 pounds before, I feel that it does look like a little bit more because I just think that you're losing a lot of bloat, a lot of water weight, for me, I think I have gluten insensitivities and I feel that I'm losing a lot of that like bloat from constantly having things like breads and pastas and, you know, all those highly gluten type things. And I don't get sick from gluten. I don't throw up or anything like that, but I just feel that like my body is constantly just bloated and just kind of like bleh. And I also feel that my headaches have gone away tremendously. So, you know, those are just some cool side effects. Also, I was hearing, I forget the exact name of it. I'll write it in the down bar as I speak, but I had a thing going on in this ear where I could hear my heart beating like through like the pulsating of my veins in this ear. It would drive you absolutely crazy. And it was driving me nuts. And it was related to either weight gain and everything kind of pushing and, you know, a vein might have gotten real close to my eardrum or something like that. I guess it can happen, or it can happen in the way of high blood pressure. So I'm really happy that that's gone and it's been away for a little while now. So that's really cool. I will say that I haven't been 100% on this. I have had days where I'm just like, screw this. I'm going to go have something very carby and I'll pay for it later. Or I'm going to go have something very sugary and pay for it later. But overall, I don't have huge amounts of cravings. I never feel hungry. And this is probably one of the easiest diets I've ever had to do. It's not that difficult at all. Because a lot of the times in, you know, low calorie, low fat, those type of diets, I never felt full. I never felt satisfied. So I will say if you're going to do this, I think it would be smart to track. You're not supposed to have to, but for me, you know, and whenever I started keto in the beginning, I didn't know that you needed to follow these guidelines to really help you get into that ketosis state, which is basically, and don't quote me, I'm not 100% on this, but basically, you know, when you eat normally, your body takes the carbs and burns them, and that's what fuels your body. So when you stop giving your body carbs, your body starts to burn the fat, and I guess it burns it faster or something like that, or your body doesn't have to fight as much and you know, all that to get it to burn. So that's why you lose weight a little bit quicker than on a, you know, low fat diet. And you know, I've always heard when you take anything that has low fat, no fat, something like that, you can think of it as like chemical poop storm. Like it's really, really bad for you. So, and I've always heard that. And, you know, if I have a lot of like those, like, you know, different types of sugars or whatever, I get headaches. My body is sensitive to it. It doesn't like it. So I'll just say, if you're going to start it, I'm just looking at my MyFitnessPal, what I have in it. You want to go into your I use MyFitnessPal. So go into your MyFitnessPal. And then you're going to go in and like edit your goals, I believe is what it is. Yeah, so you're going to go in and you're going to hit goals and you're going to do calorie and macro goals. So it automatically sets a calorie for you. Don't worry about your calories. You can go over, you can be under. Don't worry about them at all. You don't have to count calories at all. What you do need to count is your carbs, your proteins, and your fats. Now, people do this differently. People do carbs and people do net carbs. Net carbs is when you have your carbs and you subtract your fiber and you subtract your alcohol sugars. Not sugars, just alcohol sugars or sugar alcohols, I forget what it's called. And that is your net carb. So like, you know, for almonds are kind of carby, but when you take away the fiber, they're not super bad when it comes to carbs. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you want to have your carbs at 5%. You want to have your protein at 20%, and you want to have your fat at 75%. I will tell you, if I do not hit my fat and protein goals, I don't lose weight that day. I don't. If I hit those goals, I can drop a half a pound to a pound a day. So make sure you get as close to those protein and fat goals as possible, because I have a tendency to have my fat around 55 to 60% and my protein around 15 to 20%. So when I can't get my fat up, that becomes an issue. And so they say, if you look on Pinterest or whatever, if you Google this type of, eating, if you look up fat bombs, it's a way to get your fat up. Cooking in butter, having a little bit of bacon, things like that can really kind of bump that fat up, which is what your body needs to burn now. So you need to have that fat intake. And yes, in the beginning, it feels really weird. My husband jokes, he's like, somehow I feel like I'm losing with you on this diet. Normally he'll look at me and he'll be like, oh, she can't have anything, but it's like I'm getting to have all these yummy, delicious things that he loves. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so the other thing you have to worry about is sugars. You want to eat as little sugar as possible. Like, really, just try not to have anything at all. In the beginning, you don't have berries or anything. Once you get kind of into it, you can start having a few, like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, things like that. No bananas, no apples, oranges, anything like that. You just need those strawberries. I personally have not given into the strawberries yet. Today is going to be my first day of having strawberries in a month because I fear that me having that little bit of natural sugar is going to make me want all the things chocolate and sugary and candy and cookies and everything. So that's why they say to do that, because I guess once you get that little amount of sugar in your body, just naturally it's like, I want all the things sugar. So, there's that. So, I'm just going to show you now for the rest of the day what I eat in a day. Today's kind of a busy day. I'm kind of on the go, but this is a pretty normal day for me. I do need to get some groceries. You won't see things like avocado. You won't see things like cheese and things like that unless I can get to the grocery store, but it's super easy. It's really easy to do on the go. You can, like in the morning, I typically always have an egg of some sort, whether it be a hard-boiled egg, whether I'm home and I can make like eggs and spinach and mushrooms, or I'll go to like Dunkin' Donuts and I'll order a bagel and I'll get egg and sausage, and I'll just give my kids the bagel. For lunch, I will typically have pepperoni and cheese, or lunch meat and cheese with like avocado and pickle on top. What else do I have? Any type of meat with like a vegetable. Be careful with some of your vegetables. Some of your vegetables are carby. You have to it's kind of amazing how many things carbs are in. Like onions are super carby. Obviously potatoes and things like that are super carby, but just be really careful and just track everything before you make it so that you don't, doom yourself. Dinner, I typically have whatever we're having. So if we're having spaghetti and meatballs, I have meatballs. If we are having tacos, I have my taco in a lettuce wrap. If we are having something that I can't have, then I don't have it and I just make something different. Typically, I always like to have eggs and bacon on hand, and I'll just make that from a meal for my substitute, and it works. Eating out, it's really easy. You just get steak and vegetables. It's super easy. You're really just avoiding breads, pastas, cookies, and treats and stuff like that, and chips and all that stuff. So I will say that whenever I have gone off plan, I still haven't had any bread at all. I haven't had any bread. I've had a tiny little bit of pasta, but it just doesn't do it for me anymore. It doesn't have the same effect. There's one meal that I need to have pasta with, and that's really it. My rice intake has been very minimal as well. The only thing that I'm still fighting myself with is the sugar and treats and stuff like that. So, I love it. It's not bad at all. I plan on, doing it for a while. If you know it all, I mean, you can look at me and tell. I had set a goal that I wanted to lose about 50 pounds for this year. We'll see if it happens, but that was my goal for this year. And then, next year I would maybe like to lose another, depending on how I feel and look, maybe another like 10 to 15 pounds. But it's working. It's easy. I don't feel restricted. It's really easy to do. Like, we are in the midst of selling our home, and we have a lot of projects and renovations going on. And on the weekends, it's really easy for me just to be like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to go grab a deviled egg, or I'm going to go grab some pepperoni, or, whatever. It's really easy to be grab and go. I don't have to sit in the kitchen and cook and prep and all that stuff. So, there's that. Sorry it's so long-winded. I'll get you guys into my eating habits, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. I think I answered everything that everybody asked.